In Germany, the conversion of the electricity supply to renewable energies is in full swing. Photovoltaics and wind energy have been expanding for 30 years. Ideally, by 2030, the last of today's 100 or so coal-fired power plants will close down. The war in Ukraine has not changed this. Oliver Krischer, former Deputy Minister at the Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, explains how Germany plans to move towards climate neutrality.
We want to replace the electricity generated from coal with renewable energy in Germany. Above all, we are focusing on the expansion of wind and solar energy. By 2030, this is expected to account for 80% of our electricity supply.
Germany in the Energiewende Marathon. There has been considerable development. The share of wind, sun and co has risen continuously. Germany now generates almost half of its electricity from renewable energies. By 2030, the target is 80%, set to reach almost 100% by 2035. The majority of Germans are clearly behind the switch from fossil energies like coal to wind and solar. This support has actually grown following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Renewables are the future to deliver independent and secure energy. The phase-out of fossil energies is thus a done deal. In the case of lignite, the government has mapped out which power plants will be taken off the grid and when. In the case of hard coal, the most uneconomical plants are shut down first. Coal-fired power generation in Germany will cease ideally by 2030. Energy security is central to this. It was never in doubt and is still a given. It has even increased. 10 years ago, a household was facing 20 minutes of disruption in the power grid per year. Today, this value has dropped by half.
This shows that with the expansion of renewable energies and despite fluctuations in their energy generation, the energy system is secure.
Schleswig-Holstein, the northernmost federal state, has pioneered the energy transition in Germany. Wind energy is particularly strong here. Already today, wind energy supplies almost 100% of the state's electricity. In Schleswig-Holstein, the company responsible for the safe operation of the electricity grid is TenneT.
Das Netz in Schleswig-Holstein war gar nicht vorbereitet auf diese Mengen.
Originally, the grid in Schleswig-Holstein was not at all prepared for the number of wind farms that were erected. As a result, the load on the 110 kilovolt lines was very high. Then we started to build the 380 kilovolt lines, the extra high voltage that is needed to transport all this power. We also built the substations so that these levels can be interconnected.
TenneT also expanded the grid abroad and to central Germany. Today, upgraded lines heading south can transport 7 times the amount of electricity to the German industrial centres. Connections with Norway, Denmark and Sweden ensure reliable electricity exchange with neighbouring countries. This also increases energy security. The grid operator TenneT is now looking ahead.
Wenn es aber wie in Deutschland Wind und Sonne sind, die eben volatil sind.
If, as in Germany, wind and sun are unpredictable, then storage has to be considered for the future. Large-scale storage. You also have to consider power to gas, so that energy can be used even when there is no wind or the sun doesn't shine. If all of Germany were like Schleswig-Holstein, the energy transition would almost be complete.
In Germany, the Federal Network Agency monitors the full phase-out of gas and coal. Achim Seres, head of the Energy Department, explains how the project of the century, the phasing out of coal, is proceeding.
I need renewable energy, I need the grid, and of course, a certain amount of weather-independent generation.
Reserve power plants are needed for longer phases without wind and sun, like here close to Berlin. These are initially fuelled by gas and later by green hydrogen.
Our calculations show that the construction of new gas-fired power plants, which can then later be converted to hydrogen, would actually be worthwhile.
Some municipalities have begun to convert surplus wind power into heat. When there's a lot of wind power in the grid, heating coils heat up 1 million litres of water in a storage tank. Residents use the water to heat their homes. In future, low-cost wind power will be able to replace natural gas. which Germany has so far largely imported from Russia. The energy transition in Germany has been underway for 30 years. We're halfway there. The road to the complete phase-out of coal-fired power plants has been mapped out. The focus is on climate protection and energy security.
I'm not at all worried that the lights will go out in Germany if we rely on renewable energies, because we will always have wind and sun in Germany. We have more problems with fossil energy imports. We do not have enough gas and have difficulties with coal and oil. All are getting more and more expensive. This means that relying on renewable energies makes us a little more independent and ensures that we can generate a large part of the energy we need in our country. And that brings more energy security than depending on imports.
In Germany, the necessary conversion of power generation and the grid are in full swing.